Warning! The project you are about to see involves mains electricity and sharp objects, both of which will kill you. Do not make this at home. Let me make it for you and hopefully not kill me. Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong. Welcome to the back office. Today I'm going to be making something that involves both mains electricity and sharp objects. Please do not make this at home. Let me make it for you. For today's deadly experiment, you will need 1 glass, 2 razor blades, 2 cable clips, soldering gear, tools, wire, tea bag and a wooden stick for testing, and mains voltage. Be very careful with mains voltage. Can you guess what I'm going to make? That's right, I'm going to make a prison style water heater. It's very simple. What I shall do is I shall begin by stripping some wire. Let's move this out of the way. We're going to go through the whole process while I'm doing this, so I'm just going to describe. I'm going to make... Oh, why am I using this? Don't try to strip wires using side cutters. It doesn't work properly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be taking these objects and making one of those prison style water heaters that you might have seen if you've been watching Orange is the New Black and I don't know, other similar type things on telly. And I'm going to do it quite dangerously. I'll tell you why I've chosen some of the materials here. I've basically chosen razor blades because they're made of stainless steel, so they won't contaminate my drink. And I've got my tea bag, so I'm going to try some delicate tea to see if the water actually tastes okay or it becomes tainted. There we go. So I've slid those through. I've left these really long. I've left them far longer than you'd normally require, and that's because I think I'm going to try to avoid soldering. So normally you would be soldering these, but I'm just going to sort of lash them up temporarily because I'm not sure I'm going to want to keep this rig permanently, so that's not going anywhere. That's one. I'll zoom in on the next one so you can see what I'm doing. Using a different lens today, doesn't have the same zooming characteristics, but I think it's good enough. So as I mentioned earlier in the sort of intro to this video, it's going to be quite dangerous, this. I'm not even quite sure what it's going to do to my household electrics when I plug it in. I'm pretty sure they should be comfortable enough because there's no ground fault unless I get involved in the circuit. By the way, don't get involved in the circuit here, you will experience bad stuff. Right, so that's the 2 connections made. Now I've got my mains lead and I'm just going to do something kind of dodgy, and that's just poke these straight in here. There we go. I'm quite confident without even testing that once I plug this in, it's going to conduct to these 2 clips. So now, of course, you can see, I'll zoom out again. See, this lens isn't very smooth. You can see this is a really dangerous piece of apparatus already. So we'll take the glass and I'm going to put in some reasonably fresh water. In fact, it's very fresh, straight out of the tap. And what I haven't quite worked out yet is how to suspend these razor blades. And again, so I'm using the razor blades as electrodes. So this is kind of like an electrolyzer. Oh, see, I almost clipped myself. These are brand new ones, so they're very clean but very sharp. So not only can you suffer some electrical damage, you'll suffer some slicing damage. See, so one option is to really just clip them to the side of the glass. This will be good nerve. Incidentally, if you might recognize this glass, this is a Nutella glass, so I'm hoping it will take a little bit of heat. Right, so you've got 1 razor blade that side, 1 razor blade that side in a tumbler full of water. Going to plug it in. 3, 2, 1. It's on. I'm looking closely to see if I can see anything. Yes, I can. I can see some fizzing. There's definitely a little bit of fizzing going on here. There's not a lot of activity going. I'm not sure what I'd expect there. I think these electrodes actually need to be a bit closer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it off again. So it's totally off, unplugged. Let's try moving them a little bit nearer. I can actually see the blade looks like it's got a tiny bit of tarnish on it, like it's already starting to do something. Okay, so we're going to plug it back in. Okay, it feels like a couple of minutes now. This is really rocking and there's a lot of steam coming up. I actually just touched the side of the glass and it's actually pretty darn hot. It's really bubbling. I'm worried about localized heating on the edge of the glass could crack it, so I'm just going to turn it off. You'll see that it's stopped buzzing, so there's definitely... Oh, that is warm. That's very warm. In fact, I think we could probably pop our tea bag in now. Prison style tea. So we could do another experiment and try turning the power on with the tea bag in. Let's see if that makes any difference at all. Yep, still works, still buzzing away. It's a possibility, depending on what you put in there, if there's salts in there would make that more conductive. Could be a little more violent in its operation. Whatever you do though, if you do ignore my advice and try to make this, do not put any metal objects in here at all. In fact, you know, really don't poke anything in there while it's running, ideally. See, I'm using the wooden stick. That's reasonably insulated, but now you can see the steam has actually gone all over the wooden stick. So if I touch that, that could be electrified. So be very cautious with this. Bit of a disaster there. This camera actually knocked itself off, and I think that's because of all this steam got in there. So what I've had to do, I've just set it back up again. We've got the water in here. Well, we say water, it's tea now. You've got the two razor blades and the electrodes connected. So I'm just going to give it another little bit of heat. I'm just going to touch this glass side very gingerly. Ow, it's pretty darn hot. You can see it's really bubbling away. I think it's probably ready to go actually. So I'm just going to turn off the power. So you can see there's the plug. It's completely safe now. There's no way any electricities could jump from there. I'm going to take these electrodes out and we're going to examine them because I can see from here already that they've turned an interesting colour. Now I don't think they were a particularly interesting colour when this was running normally. They were certainly getting a bit tarnished, but once I put the tea bag in, they really change colour. Can you see the water line? It's quite interesting. I don't know if it's a... Yeah, it's like a residue that's sort of built up, so that could be the tannin. I wonder if the blades are still sharp. I mean, they'd certainly look sharp enough to cut skin, but I don't know if the... Yeah, they're still pretty sharp. I don't know if they're... If I compare it to the bit that wasn't in the end of the water. Yeah, well, actually... Yeah, they're blunt actually. They have been blunted a lot. So this part, the clean part's exceedingly sharp, but this part's actually been blunted. So in the actual process, you know, whatever's going on has been dulling the edge. So see some molecules and atoms and whatnot have been migrating from one side to the other. So we've been depleting off one side and collecting on the other. I don't know what the gas is that would have been emitted during that process. You may well have had hydrogen and oxygen and depending on the materials. So I know these are stainless steel, we can probably look that up, but certain materials will give off certain gases. Let's give the opportunity to try this tea. So I'll just fish out the tea bag because we know it's not right to have tea with a tea bag in it. if I were to describe the tea looking at it, I would say it's yeah, pretty okay looking glass of red coloured tea. I shall give it a sip now and I'll let you know how that tastes. Tastes like tea, unsurprisingly. It's a really good temperature actually. I didn't let it get too hot. No complaints at all. A lovely cuppa. So that's how you make a cup of prison style tea. Please feel free to click subscribe, leave comments down below, and as ever, thanks for watching.